We share this planet with millions of other creatures. And some of them do things we still can't explain. A butterfly that finds its way to a forest it has never seen. A flock that moves like a single mind. A fish whose birth no one has ever witnessed. An animal that almost never gets cancer. And a creature with a mind so different, it might as well be alien. These aren't legends. We've watched them, filmed them, studied them for centuries. And science still can't fully explain them. In this video, we're looking at 5 animal mysteries that researchers still can't fully explain. Not the supernatural, just biology we haven't finished decoding. We'll start with an insect that weighs less than a paperclip and crosses a continent.
Every autumn in the forests of North America, something remarkable begins. Hundreds of millions of monarch butterflies lift into the sky and start flying south. Their destination, a handful of small mountain forests in central Mexico, up to 4,000 kilometers away. Here's the strange part. The monarchs making that journey have never been there before. The butterflies that flew north in spring died generations ago. This is a great-grandchild setting off alone to a place it has never seen and somehow arriving at the exact same trees. We know part of how. They use the sun as a compass, correcting for the time of day with an internal clock. On cloudy days, they seem to fall back on a magnetic sense. But how a creature with a brain the size of a pinhead inherits an entire map, one it was never taught and never traveled, is still not fully understood. They arrive by the millions and cover the trees until the branches bend. And every year the question returns, how do they know? The next mystery isn't one animal, it's thousands, moving as one. At dusk over fields and cities, the sky sometimes comes alive. Thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of starlings gather and begin to move together, folding and rippling into vast, shifting shapes. It's called a murmuration. What's astonishing is the coordination. The whole flock can change direction in a fraction of a second, with no leader and no signal passed around. We've learned part of the rule. Each bird pays attention to about 7 of its nearest neighbors, matching their speed and direction. Multiply that across thousands of birds, and the flock behaves almost like a single fluid. But that's the how, not the why. We still don't fully understand what murmurations are for, whether it's protection from predators, warmth, sharing information, or something else. And even the exact way a tern ripples through the flock is still being worked out. A hawk dives in, and the whole cloud splits and reforms unhurt. Thousands of tiny minds behaving like one. The next mystery has puzzled us for over 2,000 years. This one is so old that Aristotle wrote about it.
The European eel is a common fish. It lives in rivers and lakes across the continent. And yet, for most of history, no one could answer a simple question. Where do baby eels come from? People never found eggs inside them. Eels seemed to simply appear. We now know the truth is stranger than the myths. When the time comes, adult eels stop eating, their bodies transform, and they slip out to sea, swimming thousands of kilometers across the Atlantic to one specific region, the Sargasso Sea. There, it's believed, they spawn once and die. In 2022, scientists finally tracked adult eels all the way to the Sargasso, confirming the journey for the first time. But here's what's remarkable. No one has ever actually seen European eels breed in the wild. Not once. The moment of their reproduction has never been witnessed. A fish we've eaten for thousands of years, and we still haven't watched it be born. The next mystery could change human medicine.
Deep underground, in the dry soil of East Africa, lives one of the strangest mammals on Earth. The naked mole rat. Nearly hairless, almost blind, wrinkled and pink, and by any normal measure, it shouldn't be remarkable. But it is. Most rodents its size live a few years. Naked mole rats can live past 30. And in all that time, they almost never get cancer. They seem to barely age, staying healthy into old age, and they shrug off certain kinds of pain entirely. Scientists have found some of the reasons. Their bodies are packed with an unusually sticky substance that seems to stop tumors from forming. Their cells refuse to overcrowd. They may clear out damaged cells more efficiently than we do. But no one has put the whole picture together. Exactly how this one small animal resists cancer and aging so well is still not fully understood. And it's why researchers study them so closely. Whatever they've figured out, we haven't. An animal that defies the rules the rest of us live by. The final mystery is a mind unlike any other on Earth.
In the oceans lives a creature so intelligent and so strange that scientists sometimes describe it as the closest thing to an alien mind on our own planet. The octopus. It can solve puzzles, open jars, use tools, recognize individual people, and squeeze through a gap the size of its eye. But the real mystery is deeper than that. Our kind of intelligence and the octopus's evolved completely separately. Our last common ancestor lived over 500 million years ago and was little more than a flatworm. Everything clever about the octopus it invented on its own. And it did so with a body unlike anything else. 2/3 of its neurons aren't in its brain at all. They're spread through its 8 arms. Each arm can taste, feel, and even act on its own, partly independent of the central brain. It's a form of intelligence we barely have words for. Distributed, decentralized, alien. How it actually works, how it feels to be an octopus, and how such a mind evolved at all, we still can't fully explain. A second, separate experiment in intelligence, living right here in the sea beside us. 5 animals, 1 planet. A butterfly with an inherited map. A flock that thinks as one. A fish born where no one has ever looked. An animal that outwits cancer. And a mind that evolved a world apart. What they share is simple. We don't have to look to distant galaxies for the unknown. It's flying overhead, swimming beneath us, burrowing under our feet. The mystery isn't far away at all. It's alive and all around us. If you want to keep exploring the unknown, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.